Welcome to the 420 podcast. Today, we're heading to the forests of Oregon uh, with a story called The Curse of the Stoned Witch.
Ooh, sounds intriguing.
It is. It is. So is this just a campfire tale, or could there be something more to it?
Well, let's find out. I'm ready.
Okay, so picture this. A small town in Oregon, surrounded by, really dense forests.
Okay, I can picture it.
And in those forests, there are all these whispers, about this witch guarding these cannabis plants.
Oh, interesting. Like protecting them.
Yeah, and these aren't just any plants. This is legendary stuff with almost mystical properties.
Wow. It's really interesting how the story combines like a modern thing, cannabis with
Yeah.
classic folklore elements.
Yeah, totally. It shows how these stories can adapt.
Mm.
So into this scene come four friends.
Okay.
There's Jake, the adventurous one, always pushing the limit.
I know a Jake like that.
And Lisa, she's the voice of reason, always cautious.
Right. Yeah, I have one of those.
Then there's Mark, the jokester, always up for anything.
Sounds like a fun group.
And then there's Sarah. She just loves a good story.
Classic group dynamic.
Right. So they're driven by, youthful curiosity,
Right.
that rebellious spirit. And they decide to steal some of the witch's legendary weed.
Oh, no, even though Lisa warned them.
Oh, yeah. Lisa's totally against it, but they do it anyway. They sneak into the forest at night, feeling all sneaky and rebellious. But almost right away, Lisa starts feeling uneasy, like they crossed a line they shouldn't have.
I bet that forest sounds intense.
Oh, the author does an amazing job really building the atmosphere.
Yeah.
Like the trees are looming over them, those rustling leaves, and then a thick fog rolls in, creating this super eerie, otherworldly feeling.
It's like the forest itself is warning them, like, hey, back off, this is my territory.
Yeah. And then Jake reaches for the cannabis,
Yeah.
and suddenly this gust of wind just whips through the trees,
Spooky.
and the leaves are rustling, ominously. It's classic supernatural stuff.
Yeah? Yeah. It definitely makes you wonder, are these events, like, really supernatural? Or is it the characters, like their guilt and fear getting to them?
It's like folklore blends those lines on purpose.
Hmm.
Leaves it up to us.
Keeps us guessing. I like it.
But after they leave the forest, things definitely escalate. Their excitement disappears, and this creeping sense of dread takes over.
Mm.
And then they each start experiencing these weird events, like Jake. His brand new car just refuses to start.
Really?
And Mark, he starts hearing these creepy sounds outside his window every night.
I bet that's freaky.
And Lisa, remember, she was the most hesitant about this whole thing from the beginning. She feels like she's constantly being watched, by shadows.
Oh, no. I'd be terrified. So what do they do?
Well, they're freaking out. They need answers. So they go see the town historian, this wise old woman named Mrs. Hargrove.
Makes sense. She'd know the local lore, right?
Exactly. She's like the keeper of all the town secrets.
Yeah.
And, Mrs. Hargrove confirms their fears.
Oh.
They made the witch angry. And these hauntings, they're only going to get worse unless they fix things.
So what happens next? What do they do?
Mrs. Hargrove, the town historian, she gives them a choice.
Okay.
Ignore the warnings and risk, things getting even worse.
Oh, I bet that's not a good option.
Or, and this is the scary part, face their fears and try to appease the witch.
I mean, that takes guts. But yeah, probably the best option.
So fueled by fear, and I think maybe a little bit of guilt too, they decide to go back to the forest, return the cannabis, and apologize to the witch.
It's like a symbolic journey. Right. Back to the scene of the crime.
Totally. And the author describes this return as even more unsettling than the first time. Like, the forest feels heavier now, the air is thick, each step they take, it's like a reminder of what they did.
The forest is definitely a character in this story.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Almost like it's holding its breath, waiting to see if they'll make things right.
Yeah, it's a great way to describe it. So they get to the grove where they stole the cannabis. And remember that fog?
Yeah, the spooky fog.
It rolls back in, making everything super eerie. It's so thick they can barely see each other. And then, out of the fog, a figure appears.
The witch.
The stone witch herself.
Yeah. Okay, I have chills.
She's bathed in this, otherworldly light.
Right.
But her expression, totally unreadable.
So you can't tell if she's going to, blast them or forgive them.
Exactly. It's such a great way to build tension. So her voice, it just echoes through the trees.
Ooh, creepy.
And she lets them know, in no uncertain terms, they messed up. Big time.
Yeah, I bet.
Jake, he's the one who started this whole thing, right?
Right.
He steps forward, No more bravado, And he admits they were wrong, says they didn't understand the significance of what they were doing.
A true apology.
Yeah, totally genuine. He's terrified and full of regret. And then silence. The witch just considers their apology.
Oh, man, that tension.
The fog is swirling around her. It feels like anything could happen.
Roar.
And finally she nods, like she accepts their apology, but she gives them this warning.
A warning.
Respect is earned, not taken.
Wow. Powerful stuff.
And with that, poof, she disappears back into the fog. And it's like instantly the whole atmosphere changes. The forest feels lighter, like it can breathe again.
It's like the forest itself forgave them.
Yeah, totally. So the friends, they head back to town, shaken, but also, like, relieved.
I bet.
They learned a huge lesson
Mm-hmm.
about respect and about the power of belief. And they got to tell the tale.
I mean, that's a story for the ages right there.
Right. So now that we've heard the whole story, let's kind of dig into it a little deeper.
Yeah.
What do you think makes this story so captivating?
I'm ready. Let's do it.
It's amazing how this story, like, sticks with you.
Right.
It makes you wonder, like, are there other stoned witches out there guarding their plants?
I mean, who knows? That's the beauty of legends, right? They tap into that part of us that wants to believe.
Totally.
Hmm.
And it makes you think about, like, all the places I've been
Yeah.
that have their own local legends. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like haunted houses or mysterious caves, those kinds of things.
Exactly. It's like there's this sense of what if, what if there's some truth to it?
Yeah, that feeling you get when you're in a place like that. It's hard to explain.
It really is. So this story, it reminds us that, even with all our technology and stuff,
Hmm.
there's still room for mystery.
Oh, absolutely. We shouldn't lose that sense of wonder.
For sure.
Oh.
It's been so great diving into this story with you.
Yeah, it has. It's been a great discussion.
So any final thoughts on the Curse of the Stoned Witch
Hmm.
and, like, what it says about us, as humans?
Well, I think this story, it's more than just a spooky tale, right? It makes us think about respect for nature, for ancient wisdom, and the consequences of our actions, when we don't show that respect.
It's a good reminder for all of us.
It is.
And to our listeners, we encourage you to seek out the stories in your own communities.
Yeah.
The local legends and lore, you never know what you might discover.
Yeah.
Until next time.